violence. Intimate partner violence, sexual violence, and stalking are important and widespread public health problems in the United States. On average, 24 people per minute are victims of rape, physical violence, or stalking by an intimate partner in the United States. This is all based on a survey that was conducted in 2010. Over the course of a year, that equals more than 12 million women and men. Those numbers only tell part of the story. More than 1 million women are raped in a year, and over 6 million women and men are victims of stalking in a year. Let's pull out a poll question right now. Where do you see intimate partner violence portrayed? Take a moment and check all of the answers that you think are appropriate. All right, we're going to hide this poll now. Coming back to our presentation, intimate partner violence is serious and preventable. The term intimate partner violence describes physical or sexual or psychological harm by a current or former partner or spouse. This type of violence can occur among heterosexual or same-sex couples and does not require sexual intimacy. IPV can vary in frequency and severity. It occurs on a continuum, ranging from one hit that may or may not impact the victim to chronic, severe battering. The impact on young boys who have witnessed violence has been observed as early as 2. Evidence shows that these young boys may be tomorrow's batterers. A girl who witnesses violence may grow up believing that battering is an expected part of a relationship and marriage. Teens are attracted to persons with whom they feel comfortable, relationships where they can behave in the ways they have learned. The young men look for persons they can control. The young women look for persons who require them to use the survival behaviors they have learned. They are at risk of being attracted to each other. Teens may carry this abusive cycle into their adult lives and pass it on to the next generation. With a lack of knowledge or awareness, those experiencing the violence may feel isolated. Those near to them may not recognize signs or suspect the possibility of the violence even occurring. And resources in their community and environment may not be available for support in the process of ending the violent relationship and remaining safe. Some questions to consider surrounding rape or assault all focus on using force or the threat of force to make you do something sexual against your will. Learn the signs. Physical assault could include throwing something at you that could hurt, pushing, grabbing, or shoving you, pulling your hair, slapping or hitting you, kicking or biting you, choking or an attempt to drown you, hit you with an object, beat you up, threaten you with a gun, threaten you with a knife or other weapon, use a gun on you, use a knife or other weapon on you. Stalking has different IDs. Let's take a look at the poll question and check all of the items that you think are included in or could be considered stalking. Now, these items are not included in stalking if it's a bill collector or a telephone solicitor. We're going to give this poll just another couple of seconds. All right, let's hide this poll and move on to the next slide. There is a cycle of violence, especially in intimate partner relationships. During the tension-building phase, a victim may find themselves walking on eggshells to try to avoid making the abuser mad. It may be a time of increasing use of bad language or threats. The children may notice that there is lots of tension in the home and behave differently as well. During violent incidents, the abuser uses physical and emotional abuse, like pushing, grabbing, hitting, kicking, throwing things, or destroying property to control and humiliate the victim. The violent incident may be strictly emotional abuse at some times, but the victim recognizes the situation as distinct from the tension building. During the sorry, or other people call it the honeymoon phase, the abuser may apologize for the abuse, saying that it would never ever happen again. There may be gifts or spending more happy times together with the family. The abuser may behave differently for a period of time, but all too soon the tension may begin to build again. It doesn't matter what your sexual orientation is. The same-sex partners reported levels of intimate partner violence at rates equal to or higher than those of heterosexuals. 44% of lesbian women, 61% of bisexual women, and 35% of heterosexual women experienced rape, physical violence, and or stalking by an intimate partner in their lifetime. 26% of gay men, 37% of bisexual men, and 29% of heterosexual men experienced rape, physical violence, and or stalking by an intimate partner at some point in their lifetime. Approximately 1 in 5 bisexual women and nearly 1 in 10 heterosexual women have been raped by an intimate partner in their lifetime. The LGBT community has been neglected in many areas of research, but that things are slowly starting to change in some fields. The 2010 survey from which this data came was the first of its kind and represents an important step forward in a focus on LGBT health issues. Who's at risk for dating violence? You can read the factors on the screen, but dating violence can be physical, psychological or emotional, sexual, or could include stalking. If it's physical, this occurs when a partner is pinched, hit, shoved, slapped, punched, or kicked. Psychological or emotional means that threatening a partner or harming his or her sense of self-worth. Examples include name-calling, shaming, bullying, embarrassing on purpose, or keeping him or her away from friends and family. Sexual is forcing a partner to engage in a sex act when he or she does not or cannot consent. This can be physical or non-physical, like threatening to spread rumors if a partner refuses to have sex. Stalking refers to a pattern of harassing or threatening tactics that are unwanted and cause fear in the victim. Unhealthy relationships can start early and last a lifetime. Teens often think some behaviors, like teasing and name-calling, are a normal part of a relationship. However, these behaviors can become abusive and develop into more serious forms of violence. Among adult victims of rape, physical violence, and or stalking by an intimate partner, 22% of women and 15% of men first experienced some sort of partner violence between the ages of 11 and 17. Approximately 9% of high school students report being hit, slapped, or physically hurt on purpose by a boyfriend or girlfriend in the past 12 months before the survey data was taken. Dating violence can have a negative effect on health throughout life. Youth who are victims are more likely to experience symptoms of depression and anxiety, engage in unhealthy behaviors like using tobacco, drugs, and alcohol, or exhibit antisocial behaviors and think about suicide. Youth who are victims of dating violence in high school are at higher risk for victimization during college. Let's take a moment to read this story. Jaleesa has recently been diagnosed with clinical depression. She goes out and binge drinks nearly every weekend with her boyfriend and friends. When she drinks, her boyfriend often pressures her to have sex even when she doesn't want to. He also makes rude and inappropriate comments about her in front of all of her friends, which makes her feel bad about herself. Let's take a poll here. Jaleesa is in an abusive teen dating relationship. What are the signs? We're going to give you just another moment with the poll. Great recognition there. It's okay to go out every weekend with your friends. It's the other things that are indicators of the bad relationship. Let's hide that, move on to the next slide. Ryan suffers from severe anxiety, but has learned to cope with the symptoms in his teen years. He recently came out to his friends and family. He has not had a close relationship with another boy before, but decided to go on a date with another boy, Paul, who expressed interest in a relationship. He quickly realized that the relationship would not work and tried to end things. But since then, Paul has not stopped calling, texting, and seems to track his every movement on social media. He asks Paul to lay off, but this only makes him pursue Ryan even more. What is Paul doing? Let's answer this poll question. Great answers. Great recognition. We're going to hide this. Move on. Our takeaway from this segment: intimate partner violence describes physical, sexual, or psychological harm by a current or former partner or spouse. IPV can happen with a weapon or without and includes stalking. Same-sex, same-sex partners report as much IPV as heterosexual couples. People at risk for dating violence include those who abuse substances, have early sexual encounters, or experienced violence in the home.